Happy Saturday, Collective. So today is the 12th of July, 2025. It's about 11:45 where I'm at, Western United States. So for everybody out there, different climb and place, I welcome you especially. Let's go ahead and look at the energy so we can go right into the reading today. So what we pulled as far as Saturday, well, actually I didn't pull anything on Sunday. So actually Monday through Friday, what we got was out of the 5 days that I pulled, 4 of those 5 days represented the gods. So Monday, for example, we pulled Tiwaz. Tiwaz represents, or is representative of Tyre, the god Tyre, the great sky god of righteousness, fairness, and justice. What it means is, of course, those things and more: discipline, duty, victory, sacrifice, courage, being a warrior, authenticity, strength, rationality, and knowing one's strengths. Again, all the traits, attributes, characteristics of a leader. Now, on Tuesday, we pulled the goddess Freya's rune, Fehu, but it was in reverse. So what does that mean? Well, it means loss, greed, disappointments, money problems, problems with your material goods, arguments, failure, disrespect, cowardice, a sense of burnout, of discord, and yes, stupidity. On Wednesday, it was Iwaz. It didn't represent a god or goddess, but it's a very powerful rune. It stands for rebirth. Again, at the end of a cycle, there is also a time to be born again, so to speak. So when the cycle is closing, now I really hope that the majority of you have learned the lessons necessary so that you can move to the next cycle. Or otherwise you're going to end up repeating this cycle and its many issues, only it'll probably be a little bit more difficult this time around to help, push you to pass the tests and so on. But beyond rebirth, it means quests and strengths, reliability and dependability, sense of endurism, trustworthiness, enlightenment, protection, history, and having a sense of purpose. I said history, I meant honesty. Forgive me. Now, Thursday, we pulled yet another god. Odin this time. We pulled Ansus. And Ansus means ancestral god. For the Norse, that would be typically Odin. Mouth, wisdom, words, the power of words, and the power of naming. We've already talked about that, how magic basically is the use of words, either written or spoken, and the intent behind it. Power, messages, speech, the enthusiasm, sense of health and harmony, as well as truth. Okay? And Friday, we have yet another god we pulled, and that would be the god Thor. His rune is Thursaz. This one too was in reverse. So unfortunately, it means some pretty nasty things. As being one of the most powerful runes in the deck, it means stubbornness, foolhardiness, sense of defenselessness. Basically, someone who doesn't heed advice. Okay, malice. A rapist, a very evil person indeed, bad. So, and hopefully that's nobody out there that I'm talking to. For the cross watchers out there, those who are spying and so on, it's more than likely that, this energy is being embodied by you. Now, the overall energy for Saturday was that of Sawillo, another very powerful rune. Okay? And again, as a reminder, it's what the Nazi SS actually implemented as far as their, emblems and everything else. But for them, it was the black sun. For us, we're talking about the life-giving source, or the sun itself. Victory, clear vision, honor, a sense of resting and achieving one's goals. Again, the life force that the sun provides, a sense of health and positive change in our lives. Also victory, success, contact with your higher self, your intuition in other words, sense of wholeness and power, and the elemental force. Okay. Now, the overall energy for the week in general was that of Gibo, another excellent, very powerful rune, the wishing rune. Again, looks like an X, even though it's the letter G. It's like X marks the spot on a treasure map, as I've said many times. It's the rune of reciprocity, both giving and receiving in balance. That means also in terms of partnerships and loving unions, in fact, even divine unions. It talks about fortune and sacrifice, a sense of generosity, again, balance, in all matters dealing with some form of exchange, including that of contracts of some type. So some of you out there may be signing a contract here in the near future. Make sure you read the small print, of course. It's how the governments basically get us tied up so we don't have any rights or control over our own lives anymore. Contractual law. Although most of us have absolutely no idea that's happening, it is. And something I will be talking about later on. But it talks about personal relationships and partnerships as well. No matter what the relationship is with another, it should be balanced, reciprocal in nature. So keep that in mind. Now, with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull a couple tarot cards to see what the overall energy is for this last day of the week. For me, Saturday is the last, not the first day of the week. Okay? Sunday, for me, is the first day of the week. And it was the, it's another thing altogether. Saturday used to be the day of rest. You know, the seventh day that we keep holy according to Abrahamic belief systems. It wasn't Sunday. The Catholic Church turns it to Sunday. We became sun worshipers and so on. Alright, so what is the energy for the collective for today? Saturday the 12th, please, and thank you. Give me clear and concise messages, no jibber jabber. I hate that when I watch other people do divination. Sometimes they never give you a clear understanding of something. Not all of them, of course, and not even all of them, or close to all of them. A lot of them are very good. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want to sound, prideful or anything like that. But when you're doing, especially collective readings, you're getting a lot of different people's energies and so on, from their guides, from the Most High, and so on. So it's not easy to pinpoint certain things that are presumably being said. So I understand that, and I need you all to understand that too. But I want to make sure that I try to give you as clear and concise reading as I possibly can. And this is why I've decided to adopt, everything minus reading tea leaves and coffee grounds and entrails. So we're using tarot cards, we're using runes primarily, and oracle cards, in order to get a feel for what type of energy is out there. So after cutting the deck, I have the Four of Cups at the bottom. Now the Four of Cups talks about loss in a sense of monotony, okay? Just wanting things to change, but everything seems to be a repeat of the previous day, week, or month. A sense of boredom and depression, a loss of focus, sometimes a feeling of stagnation. And again, I fully understand what that's like. I felt that way several times in my journey. Now on the top, what we got, we pulled this one yesterday actually, the Two of Swords. Now the Two of Swords talks about indecisiveness, basically. Having a decision to make, but not having all the clear facts, or maybe even being deprived of some of the truth in the matter. Okay? So it's a difficult, decision, and you're torn on either side at this point. Means denial, sometimes feeling caught in the middle of something. Okay, so that's the first card that we pulled out. So let's see what else we got. Pull out two more. I get two more cards, please. Two more cards for the collective, and thank you. Two more cards, energy for today, Saturday, for my collective. Thank you. Now that energy may again be for you or somebody within your sphere of influence. That means anybody that you know or that knows either you personally or about you, and you are very much on their mind for whatever reasons. And it doesn't have to be nefarious, but somebody within that sphere of influence is actually having to make some type of a decision and is having some difficulty. Okay, one more time. All right, thank you. Okay, so at the bottom we have the Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups talks about celebration, hanging out with your friends and loved ones, partying and, just being with groups of people that you enjoy being around. Sense of socializing and friendships, reunions, things of that nature. So that's very positive. And on the top, what we got, what we had in the bottom, the first pull, the Four of Cups. So again, a feeling of monotony, loss, boredom, depression. That goes a long ways with the Two of Swords. All right, well, we can't have every day that's filled with nothing but positivity. Yesterday was very positive. Today it looks like we have some things on our mind. Or at least somebody that you know does. Okay? One more, please, for the collective. One more card for today. What else does the collective need to know? What does the collective need to know? Thank you. One more. One more. All right, at the bottom we have the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups is a king who's rational. He's emotionally balanced, calm, faithful, friendly, very mature, very wise, and a caring king. Okay, cups basically talk about our emotions. He's mastered his emotions, in other words. And again, you don't have to be a man to be in the King of Cups energy. It could be a woman who's very much in her masculine side in terms of the things that I just called out. Now that's the bottom. Let's see what the top has. The top card represents more turmoil. We have the Five of Wands. All right, so the Five of Wands talks again about conflict, competition, friction, chaos, rivalry, and disagreements. Now, for the last 2 straight weeks, we've been talking about this third party coming in. This third party does not have your best interests at heart. Remember, they're coming in as described as a wolf in sheep's clothing. They want you to believe that they have changed. They want you to believe that they have your best interests at heart, that they are a good person who has done the inner work and everything else, and wants to reestablish a relationship with you. But what they really want to do is come in and basically throw a monkey wrench into your life. Something that will completely throw you off track, get you sidetracked and in a lower vibrational state. Once they've gotten you in a lower vibrational state, that opens you up for a lot of other things. Potential magical attacks and things like that. That's how magic works. If your vibration is here and their vibration is here, which most dark magicians are, then they cannot touch you. It's just like tuning into a radio station. If you're tuning into 98.5, which is one of my old favorite stations here in Sacramento, it's, it was a rock station I used to listen to growing up, and you're vibrating up here at 200, well, you're not going to hear what's going on or be able to even touch what's going on here at the radio stations vibrating at 200 hertz, right? Because you're down here at 98.6. So they can't touch you with their magic either, or what magic they throw. Even if they're very, very powerful, it's going to be basically nothing more than a nudge. You'll be able to just brush it off very easily. Or once you feel it, you can either transmute that send it back to them, whatever the case may be. We have to be aware of what their devices are and the things that are going on, because most people either don't believe in this stuff or they have absolutely no idea these things are going on. They already assume that they have the, I guess, preconceived notion. They think that they understand what the truth is on this matter. But there are a lot more people that are doing these things than most people have any idea at all about. And it's oftentimes people who are closest to you. Closest in the sense, they're the ones who smile in your face, and all the while they want to take your place, the backstabbers, as the song goes. All right? So, and we're getting a lot of caution about this energy today, so I want to emphasize those types of things as we go through this. Now, let's see what the runes actually have to tell us today, okay? What is the present energy for the collective? I've already done my affirmations, my prayers, my meditation. I've already called upon Odin, the Norns, and the gods, the goddesses, Most High. So let's get our energy for today. Thank you. Energy for today. Thank you. All right, well, we pulled this yesterday with the Black Obsidian, and this one is, again, Legus, but it's in the upright. Now, Legus, again, speaks about anything water-related. In terms of the 5 elements, yes, I know that most astrologists only talk about 4, but the ether is still considered, in terms of the esoteric and the occult world. And what this stands for is water. Now, water represents, again, emotions and things of that nature. So it talks about, one, the feminine aspect of ourselves, the divine feminine to be specific, and that simply means embodying all the 4 queens in the tarot deck and all of their qualities, mastering your emotions and all the feminine qualities that we all inherently have access to or are supposed to nurture and build. Remember, we're supposed to be balanced in both masculine and feminine attributes, traits, and characteristics, and that's why we're here, to find the balance of those and to master those things instead of allowing them to master us. So it stands for intuition. It stands for many of the clairsentience and all those types of things, where you have these extra if you will, sensory abilities, kind of like extrasensory perception, ESP, the ability to see into the future, not just yours but others, to see your fate, and of course doing things such as divination is part of that. So once you become more in tune with that feminine aspect of yourself, you too can start to develop many of these intuitive abilities. We've all heard that, how a mother has like a sixth sense with her children at times, right? They can feel when something wrong or is amiss with their child. Well, that is a real thing. It's a genuine thing. And when you can develop those same characteristics yourself, male or female, okay? So that's actually a very good one to start off, because we need our intuition in order to get us through these trials and tribulations, these tests that are coming up in order to graduate this cycle and move to the next one, okay? Remember, we just had the full moon the other day in Capricorn, so it's a moon basically reflecting that we have to come to terms with who we really are and the things we need to deal with. All right, so with that being said, let's get some influences. What are some influences for the collective too, please? Influences for the collective, and thank you. All right, Manes, okay? Manes speaks about anything dealing with people, mankind, humanity. It talks about altruism, talks about the self, a sense of modesty, both friends and enemies, any type of relationship dealing with another, okay? That's what it stands for. It's not a negative rune. Again, it's one that's there for edification, just to let you know basically how to live. That's what a lot of these are as well. They're not just looking into the future and things like that. They also give us direction in how to live our lives properly. All right, another influence, please. Another influence. What else is influencing Legus today? And Sowilo. Two very powerful runes. Well, the one that precedes that in its own family, group, or ayat, This is Ewas. Now, Ewas stands for basically anything referring to forward progress or movement. In fact, even working together, which goes along nicely with Maenaz. Say, for example, you have two horses that are pulling a carriage. If they're out of rhythm with each other, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Talking about the riding of a horse and the rider. You know, if the rider is not riding in unison with the stride of that horse, let's just say they're going to have some friggin' major issues when they get off that horse. They're not going to be able to walk for a couple of weeks probably. So, you know, there has to be a sense of rhythm and everything else to move properly in a forward momentum, so to speak. So it talks about trust, loyalty, partnerships, cooperation, and again, anything dealing with forward momentum or progress. All right, now finally, let's go ahead and look at the future. And that's any time from the time that you're watching this. These are all timeless. So whether you're watching this today, which is the 12th of July, or you're watching it next year, it doesn't matter. 24 hours from this point on, that's what this future actually represents, since I do this daily. What is the future for the collective, please? And thank you. Future. All right. We pulled this one many times. This one is with the rose quartz. This is Othala. Okay. And again, this talks about inheritances. It talks about your heritage, spiritual and materialistic. Okay. It too is found in the third group, or Ayat. So it looks like the god Tyr's 8 runes are basically what's predominant in today's pool. Even Lagus. In fact, all 4 of these runes come from that same group, family, or Ayat. And that means, you know, even though this group only takes 1/3 of the total runes, so I got 48 in there, so twice the amount of normal, I've got all of them from that same family. What are the odds of that? Well, no different than the odds of pulling out 2 out of the 3 major arcana with the tarot cards all week long. I mean, there's 78 tarot cards, and there's only 21 that are major arcana. And yet you pull out 2 or 3 major arcana out of 3 cards. Again, statistically, that's very, very, well, it's difficult, you know, without doing the math to see what that actually looks like, but it's kind of crazy. So what else does Othala mean? Well, it talks about your legacy, both the legacy that's been passed down to you and the one that you hopefully are building and going to leave your family when you leave, okay? That's what a legacy is. It also deals with ancestral property, estates, and again, success in some type of a legal battle. So if you're actually going over a legal battle like I'm having, and it deals with something to do with an estate, with your finances, things of that nature, you're rest assured that you're going to be victorious no matter how dire the situation may look currently. So you can go in there with the extreme confidence. You can actually draw this on a piece of paper, stick it in your wallet, and even actually basically speak it at least 3 different times, the magic of Othala. And you can walk into that courtroom and rest assured you will be victorious. Now, if 2 of you are doing it and 2 opposing sides, the one that is most in line with the gods and the goddesses will be the victor in this case. And that's usually the one who's walking in a moral, disciplined, honorable life, not one of self-servingness and ego and all of that crap. That shows very low vibration. Those are all very low vibrational traits and attributes. Our job is to raise our vibration, to inevitably be able to graduate, to raise it up high enough to step into and be with the divine. The higher your resonance is, the more communion you actually have with the divine. And it's, you know, many counterparts. And by that I mean not just the Most High himself, but all the representations of him, the angels that watch over you, your ancestors, and so on and so forth. the other magical etheric beings like the Fae and so on, whether you believe in them or not. Okay? So that's what we're here to try to do, to raise our vibration. And if you've never heard this before, it's really the essence of every major religion when you're trying to really get close to God, whatever God that is that you worship. Or presumably, maybe some of you don't. If you're pagan, that's fine. You still have a sense of reverence for nature in general. And I also reverence Mother Gaia or Mother Nature. Terra Firma. I mean, there's so many names from so many different cultures, and I try to go back as far as I can, and that's typically accepted as being ancient Mesopotamia or Babylon and so on and so forth. I don't know if I believe that anymore. I think these are just the remnants of cultures. We've had several resets in our time here upon this planet, I believe, and I believe that's what the stories of the gold and silver, bronze, and the iron ages actually represent. At the end of each of those ages, there is a major reset. And then, coming back in to start a new cycle. That cycle is generally, and I don't know if I believe it started off in the Golden Age, where we walked side by side with the gods. And then we incrementally degressed, and that's like the laws of entropy, for example. And this is why evolution is bullshit, evolution within the species, certainly, we adapt, that's true. But to say that we're better now than we were when we originally made, that defies everything that we know about physics when you think about it. The world, just like any closet, isn't going towards more order with time. It goes to more disorder with time. And yet they had to push things like evolution so that they could actually pass so many other things that are happening that people don't even blink at anymore, such as this eugenics movement, population control, or to overlook things that are absolutely being televised on a daily basis, like in Gaza today, the genocide that's happening and being witnessed throughout the world. The U.S. is the last one to acknowledge it seems. So all these things are created for a reason. There is an agenda out there, and it's time to take this planet back from the evil that has actually usurped that. They have no rights to it. Nobody that's in control today has been put there by the Most High himself, and he's the one that's going to be bringing them down very, very soon. That's my absolute belief, and that's why he's raising up a whole new generation of light workers, if you will, people who have been either star seeds or people who have been born into this world to change this world, and that's why we're also being hunted. They have no power over us, and I know you're watching. So again, I don't want to get on a tirade. I owe my collective absolute respect in this, and I don't owe you anything. So with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and look at some tarot or oracle cards now. Find what else Most High and your ancestors want you to know. Okay? So we're going to look at some hidden truth oracles, see what they have to say for you. All right? So what does my collective need to know, please? What else do they need to know? What other truths you want to share with them? Thank you. What other truths does my collective need to know? I get very passionate. I've been a leader my whole life. I've been groomed for it. So I believe that the spiritual journey that I've decided to partake in, no matter how difficult it has been, that this is also something that, well, let's just say things are going to change here very, very soon within this world. And I want to be part of it. I hope you do as well. That's the kind of collective that I hope is out there. And you don't have to be big, bad, strong. You don't have to be trained in military tactics or anything like that. If you can pray and you can be an invalid in your bed or whatever, and you can still partake in this battle that's happening. And I solicit your prayers, your energy. If you send positive energy to people like me who are trying to stand in the gap for those who can't do it themselves or simply refuse to because they just don't know and they've been brainwashed their whole lives, then I would be deeply in gratitude for that, okay? Because we are at war. Make no mistake about it. There is a war happening all around us. And that's what part of this is. Yes, I know many would say that divination is of the devil, but I would tell you that what is the root word for divination? Divine. Seeking the will of the divine. It is no different than prayer. None whatsoever, except I'm getting real-time answers. Okay? You pray to get answers every day. You pray over what you need, what you desire in this life. That's what divination is also there for, but it helps to keep our perspective more in line with that of the divine in many ways. I pray. I also meditate. I do divination. I seek constantly the will of the divine. That's what this is, and this is why it is not of the devil. Remember, the very people that put these things there for us to believe are the very people that want us to allow them to control what we believe, what is and is not right, and not question it. We are to question everything. Again, I would invite you to look at that New Testament and see what Jesus had to say. Okay? There's nothing wrong with this. I love Jesus Christ. I do. I love Krishna too. I do. I love Odin as well. Balder, his son, is almost a reflection of Jesus Christ in the Norse pantheon. He was the god of love and life as well. And he's going to come back and do battle in Ragnarok, the end times, just like Kartikeya is for the Hindus, just like Jesus Christ is for the Christians. Okay? There are similarities in the world's religions, but the only way to know that is to have the courage to see for yourself. Don't rely on third parties. Go out there and find the truth for yourself. It is your responsibility, nobody else's. I'm just here to help wherever I can. All right, so the first truth that we have is, I left when I saw you with someone. Well, I don't know if this is you. I feel that it's you. I do. I feel this particular card is definitely for you. Somebody out there is claiming that they left simply because they saw you with another person. That person could have been a sister. It could have been anybody, a friend. Didn't have to necessarily be somebody that you were romantic with or what have you. But they didn't even have the courage or the wherewithal to inquire. They just decided to use that and as an excuse to no longer be in your life or what have you. So you see it however you wish. That's the way I see it. All right, one more please for the collective. One more please for the collective. People are who they are, and you know that by their fruit, as the Christians would say. And by their fruit you will know them, as Jesus said, for example. Not their words, by their fruit. So, all right. I hid who I really am from you. Excuse me. I know who this is in my life. Whoever it was that first came to mind in yours, in your mind, that's probably who it is. 9 out of 10 times it will be accurate. Trust your intuition, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and pull out some love oracles. Let's see if there's any advice on love. Anybody coming in our way? We've been hearing that for the last couple of weeks, that there definitely is. Somebody good, perhaps divine even, and another who is going to be a temptress or tempter to get you off track. So make sure you use your intuition. Make sure that you don't give in to temptation. Be strong. It's so worth waiting for that right person, doing the right things, taking your time with that person, getting to know them, see how they respond and react to certain things. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Shows a great deal of character and strength. All right, so the first love oracle, stabbed in the back. Whoop, sorry. Says heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking attack. All right, well, this could have been what they done to you the first time around. Now remember, part of having psychological ties with somebody can be built around things like that. Highly dramatic types of, incidents in your life, mixed with highly high vibrational or positive aspects. Basically the lowest of the low types of things being done to you, and then mixing that up with the highest of the high. I forget what syndrome that is, Stockholm syndrome. So it helps you to develop a tie to them psychologically. It's manipulative form of tactic. So don't let somebody do that. Once they've revealed who they are that person. Now, can they change? Sure. But to change somebody who's proven that they are willing to go to the absolute lowest and do things that way, that says that they have a lot to grow up. I mean, a lot to basically deal with, a lot of inner turmoil and demons, a lot of childhood issues that they have to confront, have the courage to see for what they are, and then actually slay those demons. And not a lot of people have that courage or that strength, let alone the patience it requires to do it. Now, some people can get therapy, and that can help speed the process them quite a bit if they're willing to do that. But if they've already shown you they're a liar or a cheater, somebody that's willing to do the most to get what they want at your expense, I would believe what they have said about themselves to you. All right, last one for love, please. All right, God, we've had this 3 times. The Hammer says sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, and working on it. Okay. Well, again, all the energy that we're getting seems to be very cautionary in terms of relationships today. So I'd be very, very cautious of anybody coming in from your past. Anybody. That doesn't mean block them out, doesn't mean not giving them a chance. And everybody out there is going to have a different situation. Not everybody who's coming back in is evil, okay? But we are being cautioned about this. So that means if you're watching this, there may be a good chance that somebody who's coming back does not have your best interests at heart. Once again, this energy does not lie, okay? All right. Now, with that being said, let's look at what kind of advice we can get from the spirit animal realm. What do the spirits in the animal kingdom have to say? What would they like to share with us? And thank you. Again, I have dragons. I also have felines that are watching over me. I also have others. I'm not going to name them all. So we all have different animals. Sometimes they were old pets of ours who were very, very close to us. Okay? All right, just like our ancestors. Okay? What does the animal kingdom wish to share with us? And thank you. All right, hummingbird. The hummingbird. I've seen several of those here too. Talks about miracles. Says you are the joy bringer. Amen. You bless the world with positivity and love. I truly hope that's your case. If not, just work on it, because that's what we are all here to do. Although love is one of the highest of vibrations. It's not the highest, but it's very, very high indeed. Something we should all strive for. It says energy soars on your shining wings, and you want to spread the miracle of happiness. I try to do that by edifying the collective, but I do that by never candy coating or lying either. I will always be straight up and honest. And if I feel something is awry or something is not right, I will let you know, even at the sake of losing many viewers and everything else. I hope that's not the case, but I know sometimes people just want their ego stroked or to be told nothing but positive things. That's not what the energy is always telling us, though. And we have to trust what the energy is telling us. So in this case, it tells us to be loved. Okay, and I couldn't say that any better, and I agree. Now, with that being said, collective, I wish you the greatest, weekend, and tomorrow we'll start a whole new week off by doing a reading for the entire week. I'm trying to keep these as short as I can, but 40 minutes, that's probably a little too long from what I'm seeing from the analytics of the page so far. People generally like the readings that are about 28 or under 30 minutes. So I'm trying to shorten it up, but I speak about what I feel compelled to speak about. So with that being said, again, I wish you all the very best. Of course, victory is yours. I will see you all in Valhalla.